chapter 10 of Antyakanda, the last chapter. Yesterday we left off that Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar were remaining in the Gambhira, and they started to disclose their minds to each other. All the Vaishnavas left, Mahaprabhu stayed behind, except two, Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar. So then we read yesterday that they disclosed their minds confidentially to each other. In other words, one had something on his mind, and like this, like nectar devotion, revealing your mind confidentially. Text 103. So what was revealed, and who revealed to whom? Manduya Vasana Ye Darila Jagannate Sandehe Janmila Vidya Nidira Ihate. After taking darshan of Lord Jagannath in Sri Mandir and seeing that he was wearing starch cloth to celebrate his Odan Shasti festival, the beginning of winter, where the Lord is offered his winter clothes, Pundarik Vidyanidhi developed some doubt. So to remove his doubt, he inquired from his friend Swarup Damodar, and he said, Jignath Shila Damodara Swaruperastan Manduya Vasana Ishwarere Denakene. He said, Swarup Damodar Swarup, can you please tell me, why do the pujaris offer starched cloth to Lord Jagannath? Hedeshi tashuti smriti sakala prachure tabekene vine dote manda vastrapade. And this is why he's doubtful. His doubt is based on his knowledge and his experience and what he knows to be the correct way to do things. So he says the Shrutis and Smritis are widely accepted in this place of Jagannath Puri. So much rules and regulations according to Smarta Vichara and Smarta Vidhi there. So why here in the temple are the pujaris offering starched cloth instead of washing it first? Because when you get cloth, you're supposed to wash it. Because any cloth, whether it's starched or not starched, if it's not silk, then apparently this is cotton. Usually I don't think they put starch in silk. Am I right? I don't believe so. So silk and jute and wool are considered pure. So when we get an outfit made for the Lord, if it's silk, then we don't wash it first. It's already pure. But cotton, when it's touched by the seamstress or the fashion, the seamstress, the person, or seamster, the person who's sewing it, the contact with the machine is considered contaminated. So then they have to wash it. So this is a law of the Smritis, and so he's wondering, if this is a law, why aren't they following it? Because they're so strict about rules to some extent. Damodara Swarup Kahina Shunakata Desha Chare Ite Dosha Nalayena Etam. Now Swarup Damodar is saying, okay, there's Smriti Vichar, Smriti and Shruti, but there's something else called the Deshachar. When in Rome, do as the Romans. Have you heard this phrase? When in Rome, do as the Romans. That means in Rome there's a particular dress code. If you go to the beach in Rome, you can wear practically nothing. But it was a tradition in India, if you were to go to the beach, the ladies would cover their bodies mostly. They wear pant and shirt, they call salwar kameez, even bathe like that. Even when the custom of India, when women bathe, they bathe with all their clothes on. Western people find that quite odd when they first see it, because no one could think of going into the shower with all their clothes on. A bath in a river or the ocean is like a bath at home. But this is the custom of this place, the Deshachar, the behavior of this place. So that's why when one comes to a new culture or a new country, he has to become familiar with the dress code. When pilgrims, or what they call tourists, visit India, they get some preparation material from their tour guides in Europe, and they tell them what the customs are. You can't walk around public with tank tops or these type of things. At least it was like that. And at least they especially say when going to a holy place. If it's a tour, sometimes they have these tours from Europe of holy places. For example, if you go to the Taj Mahal or you go to the Red Fort, they have dress code. You can't walk in your shirts and the shorts and just, you have to wear. Or you go into a Gurudwara, you have to cover your head, I believe. Men have to cover their head. So this is the deshachara, this is the behavior of the place. So it's important to know that. So he said there's no doshana, this is the custom of this place, and there's no real fault. Shruti smriti ye jane, se nakare sarvata, yatra are mata sarvakala eta. Persons who know the Shrutis and Smritis may not observe this festival, but here it has always been observed in this way. So those that are strict followers of the Vedic Smritis and Shrutis, they'll never violate them to offer starch cloth to the Thakurji. But this location, this is tradition and custom of Puri to offer the starch cloth, so apparently Jagannath likes it. When Krishna was arguing, or let's say not arguing, but debating or discussing with his father, why is he doing this Indra Yagya, Indra Puja? He says, is this is ordered in the scriptures, or this is just our family tradition, or what is this? Because Indra is pouring rain everywhere. He's pouring rain even on the ocean, and no one's doing any puja over there. And there's no need for rain. You say we need rainfall to get rich grasses to feed our cows and make them healthy. So there's a purpose for the rainfall, but there doesn't seem to be any purpose to the rain falling on the ocean. The ocean is the very source of the rain. And arguing like this, Karmakanda, Mimamsha, and all this. So, of course, it was kind of a tradition that he was doing. And he abandoned it when Krishna came and convinced him that just worship Giriraj and the Brahmins. Everything will be accomplished. Ishvara icha jari natake antare, tabe deka rajakene nisheda nakare. If this festival, Odan Shasti, offering starch cloth, was not the desire and the will of the Lord, Jagannath, then why hasn't the king stopped it? This is first of all, Sri Damodara asked this question by saying this is a tradition, and if it wasn't the desire of Lord Jagannath, then the king would override the Brahmins who are doing it. And how would he override it? Because whenever Lord Jagannath wants to express his Ishvara Icha, his desire, he appears in the dream of the Gajapati Raj. He appears in the dream of the king, and simultaneously or independently, the temple superintendent, in this case Kashi Mishra. But he didn't in all these years. He never appeared. Jagannath never, because when Jagannath's not pleased, he lets everybody know about it. He's not a silent God. He's a very active God. It's like Prabhupada, if you did something wrong, you would find out about it real fast. He was quick to correct his errant disciples to keep them on the proper path of behavior and to stay properly adjusted on the path of bhakti. He wouldn't tolerate stupidity and lateness and many things, inefficiency. Prabhupada was a champion of punctuality and proper action according to the Kaladeshan Patra. He expected his disciples to be the same, extremely punctual to the second. and to do everything right. Prabhupada once visited a temple, and there was a small gate to a garden behind the temple, and it had two hinges on it, and the top hinge was broken. So the gate was resting, the corner was resting on the ground, but you could lift it up and turn it and walk into the garden. And Prabhupada went there, and he stopped and he looked and said, "What is this?" And the devotees thought, they said, "This is a garden, Prabhupada." The devotees didn't even see what, they didn't have the idea. They thought everyone had already accepted that this is the way you go into the garden. The garden has a broken gate. Like some people's houses, they have these doors that make noise when you go into them. Maybe you've been in one. You open a door, it goes. You ever heard it like that? and then everyone's wondering when it'll ever get adjusted. Or it was like that before this kalpa, and it'll be like that after this end of this kalpa. Whenever Brahma creates, he creates it in the same way. He always appears in a lotus flower and gets bewildered, and he enters inside the lotus and goes up and down, and still he can't figure out where that noise is coming from. So then Prabhupada, it took him a while, and then Prabhupada said, "This," and the gate is broken. And last year when I came, it was also broken. So not only was it broken when Prabhupada wanted to enter the garden, but it was a year later it was still broken. And Prabhupada said, "This is not Krishna consciousness. It should be repaired immediately." So you had to be on your toes whenever Prabhupada was, well, he's always with you, but whenever you were directly with him, especially on your toes. So Pundarik is responding, Swarup Damodar is answering his question, and Pundarik replies, "Vidyanidhi Balai, Bala Karuka Ishvare, Ishvarara Jay Karma Sevake Kene Kare, Puja Panda Pashupal, Paricha Vehara, Apavitra Vastra Kene Dare Va Ihar." Pundarik Vidyanidhi said, and Jagannath, he's God, he can do whatever he likes, he's Swatantra. But why do the servants imitate the activities of the Lord? Okay, if Jagannath wants to go down to the market and buy some starched cloth, let him do it. But we're his servants, we should know better. Jagannath goes down, and goes in Ganga Prasad and says, "Look, do you have anything that'll fit me?" He said, "Look, we don't have any kurtas with arms that long. You're so tall, and you're tall like a European, and you're wide like a Punjabi. But your arms are long, very auspicious. So we don't make kurtas that are long plus wide. Because if someone's long, usually they're not very wide. And then you have these long arms. But we have one thing that's starched cloth. Yeah, I want that starched one." So Jagannath goes and buys, and it's fine. But why do the servants, why are they acting, and the Lord is independent, he can do whatever he likes. But the servants of the Lord can't do whatever they like. They have to do what the Shastras say, the Shastra Vidhi. Worship like this, and you wake up the Lord like this, and you offer food like this, and you observe Janmashtami like this, and you offer Panchamrita and Panchagavya, and do puja like this, with this bija mantra and this samagri, datus, and all these things, and nyas and mantras. We have to follow the rule. We're not God. The servants are not God. And he goes on to say, well, why do the priests and the pujaris and the temple superintendents and all the servants, why do they touch unwashed cloth? Because there's also a rule that if you touch unwashed cloth or starched cloth, then you're contaminated. And if you go in to touch the deities, it's aparad. So he's trying to go different ways. Because the argument that Swarup Damodar gave, the answer, first he says it's a tradition of this place, and then seeing that didn't suit well with Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and he said, it's a tradition, it's a deshachara, it's the achara, the behavior of this place. It's going on like that. And then so still Pundarik was, maybe the tradition has been wrong all these years. It's a wrong tradition. It's like putting the cat in the basket in a marriage. There's a story about, you know the story? Somebody was getting married, and then this cat was going, wow, 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 and someone said, catch that cat, put it in a basket, one of those straw baskets, and muffle it, noise. So they caught it. So now that lady, you know, she was her marriage, and then later, she's married, and her daughter got married. And she told her daughter, she said, look, you have to get a basket when you get married, that you're vivaha, and keep a cat in a basket. And she said, why? Well, they did that at my marriage, and so this is this is one of the things you do. So they've been going on like that for generations. Finally, somebody said, why are we doing this? And no one knew why. But after so many generations, people forgot the origin of the cat in the basket theory. So these are the kind of blind traditions that we sometimes carry on. Don't walk under a ladder. It's 7 years in auspiciousness or whatever, because there's so many things. So then he said, well, God is Sutantra, it's his Icha, and everything goes by his will, and he reveals his will in the minds. He appears in Swapna to the king or to the temple superintendent and expresses his likes or dislikes. And so he's never said he didn't like it. He seems to be rather liking it. And then Pundarik interjected, all right, I accept what you're saying. That's from his side. But what about the servants? They know the Shrutis and Smritis. And they also know that if they touch starch or unwashed, starch means unwashed, because when you buy it, it's starched. And when you wash it, the starch comes out. So it's not starched, and then it's clean, and then you don't get, it's not a dosha touching it. But it's a aparad, murti, let's say, save aparad in deity service to touch unwashed cloth or to wear unwashed cloth. So now Pundarik goes on. Jagannatha Ishvara Sambhave Sabatane Tana Acharana Ki Kariba Sarvajane. Lord Jagannath is the supreme controller. For him everything is possible. But how can others imitate his activities? Again, he's harping on the same point. He said it's his desire, but okay, he's the controller, he's independent. But what about his servants? How they can't imitate. They can't imitate. No one can imitate the Lord. Mandavastra sparshe hasta dulila se shuddhi ihava na kare kene haya subudhi. If one touches starched cloth, he should wash his hands to purify himself. Why don't such learned persons as the Pandas and the Puja Pandas and Pashapalas and Padichas, why don't they follow this injunction? Rajapatra abudha jaiha navichare rajao manduya vastra dene nija shire. The government officers are ignorant because they do not consider this. The king even wraps this starched cloth on his head. So now first he's telling that the wise Brahmins and personal Brahminical servants and intimate Antaranga servants, Sevites of the Lord, the Thakurji's Sevites, they should know better that this is contaminated. And then the Raja, you said that Jagannath will appear and express his desire, and why hasn't the king stopped it? Not only the king hasn't stopped it, but after Lord Jagannath honors and wears that starched cloth, it's given as Mahaprasadi Vesh, Jagannath's Mahavesh. And the king wraps it on his head. That unwashed, contaminated cloth. What is this? Doesn't anyone know what's going on around here? King doesn't know what to do. The Brahmins don't know what to do. And the king, he's what? What is going on here? Damodara Sarupa Balena Shunabhai Shunabhai Hena Buji Odan Jatraya Doshanai. Listen, my dear friend, O Pundarik, O Vidyanidhi, this is Puri Sri Kshetra Dham. This is my dear brother. There is no fault in the Lord's Odan festival. Doshanai. Listen, I'll explain why. Param Brahma Jagannatha Rupavatar Viri Va Nisheda Eta Nakare Vichar The Supreme Brahman, Daro Brahman Jagannath Bhagavan Sri Krishna, has incarnated and appeared here in Jagannath Puri in a deity Archamurti form. Sri Murti is Jagannath Dev. Therefore, rules and regulations do not apply to him. Vidyanidhi Balai, Balai, Shuno, Ekata. Param Brahma Jagannath Vigraha Sarvata. Now Pundarik, he gives a rejoinder. Please listen, brother. Oh, Damodar Srup Bhai. That Jagannath Murti is a supreme Brahman in all respects. I accept that. He's supreme Brahman, no doubt. Tane dosha nahi, vidinisheta langile, egulao Brahma haila taki nila chale. Lord Jagannath is not at fault even if he violates the rules and regulations. But have all these others, the Puja Pandas and Padicha, all these others, they've also become Brahman by staying in Nilachala? He's really, revealing the mind confidentially. He's saying, he has doubts, and the guru, his friend or elder person, whatever, guru is trying to remove the doubts, and it's not working. He said, it's like this. He said, I don't accept. He's independent, but the pujaris are independent. Well, he's Brahman. He's a part of Brahman. There's no rules and regulations for the part of Brahman that comes down here. Oh, the Pandas are also part of Brahman, and they're beyond. This is very nice. So now there's a purport. Following the local custom of Jagannath Puri, the king of Puri, Gajapati Raj, he would wrap an unwashed starch cloth around his head. I assume it would be Mahaprasadam, or maybe it wasn't. Yet Smriti injunctions is that starch cloth is impure. Although this custom of wearing starch cloth is permissible for the Supreme Lord, it is proper for his servants to always remain in a pure state. So the Lord, who's Supreme Brahman, can never become contaminated. Can the sun ever become contaminated by the urine in the latrine in the stool field? Or the stool cannot contaminate the sun. The sun rather purifies an impure place. So Param Brahman, the Supreme Brahman, is much more powerful and brilliant than the sun and more purifying. Ati Ati Pavitram. So there's no impurity for him, and whatever he does, whatever he contacts, it becomes spiritual, turns into Brahman. But his servants, they can't turn things into Brahman. Brahman is a non-variegated object. It is devoid of all material qualities. The deity form of the Lord is transcendental, so this custom may be suitable for him, but his servants are not Brahman, free from material qualities. Therefore, they must consider gun and dosh, qualities and faults. The servants are not incarnations of the Lord or the deity. Vidyanidhi considered that the behavior of Lord Jagannath's servants was faulty, doshachar. They made seva aparads. Some mad elephants running around Puri. Iharao chadi leka loka vyavahar sabe haila brahma rupa avatar. These puja pandas and padichas and servants of Lord Jagannath, they have given up proper etiquette and have become like incarnations of the Supreme Brahman. Eta Bali Sarvapate Hasya Jayena Hasyavesh Yuktai. While speaking this way, the two friends, Pundarik Vidini and Srup Damodar, laughed and laughed again and again as they walked down the road. So apparently the Lord was left alone in Gambhira, and they left him and they walked down the road discussing this, not in the Gambhira, but away from the Gambhira, and they were laughing. It's just a friendly conversation. You say this, well I say this. Anyway, ha 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 ha. Yes, Yes, oh, certainly, I agree with you. Yes, the Pandas are now Supreme Brahman. Good, very good. And I'm also Supreme Brahman, and so are you. There's like one, well, I don't know if it's a very good analogy, but just keep quiet. Save your editing. Dui Saka Hata Hati Karya Hasena Jagannatha Dasero Acharado Shena. The two friends, Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Damodar Swarup, held each other's hands and laughed as they discussed whether Jagannath's servants were at fault. Sabe na janena sarva dasara prabhav Krishna se janena jandra jata anurag. No one can understand the glories of Lord Jagannath's Sevites. Only Krishna knows how much attachment the Lord's servants have for him. This is the Vedavyas Vrindavan Thakur is explaining the tattva behind this lila. Brahmo kare jainat Krishna apana dasere brahmachchedo kare pache sadaya antare. So then he explains this. Now Vedavyas, this lila is there, and some questioning of Pundarik Vidyanidhi about the behavior of the servants of the Lord and dressing him with starched cloth, which is considered dosh or impure. And now there's some tattvas there in dealing with the loving relationship between the Lord and his devotees. This is something we have to understand. So now the author is presenting this lila, and it's on the Adi Bhautika platform and Adi Daivika platform. They're laughing at Sasya Ras. It's a conversation between Radharani's father and Lalita Sakhi, Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar. And the subject is Jagannath and his servants and their exchanges, which appear to be faulty in the mind of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. But Swarup Damodar was countering that, saying there's no fault. This is the way of Puri. This is the way of the servants. Jagannath's happy with it. He's never expressed any disliking for this. And yes, the king wears starched cloth on his head also, because Jagannath is the supreme king of kings, and the king is his servant. So he's wearing either the prasadi starched cloth, or also, since he's the king of the people and Jagannath's the king of the universe, he's also wearing starched cloth to celebrate the festival. Just like we have a festival in North India called Holi. So we go to the deity, we go to the deities, and they're wearing white cloth. We dress them in white cloth that day, Radharaman, and we throw colors on them, gulal and all, so many things. And then we start throwing colors on each other, and the pujaris. Oh, why you have colors on? Only Krishna should have colors. Everybody has colors. You go to Barsana, Larlaji Lal temple, and they take the pitchkaris and they squirt the deities, and then they squirt the Maha Holy on everybody, one and all. So it's not that the king is imitating Lord Jagannath by wearing starched cloth on his head. He's just in the ulas of the festival. And people of the village of the Puri, oh, they're very happy. Oh, Jagannath's celebrating. He's wearing a starched cloth. And our king is also wearing. Because starched cloth is considered impure. Usually the king is wearing a golden crown with ratna, what do they call it? Crown. Mukut. Ratna mukut. A golden gem-studded crown worth lakhs and lakhs of rupees. That's the king's crown, the sign of the king. Now he has some old starched cloth on his head, like some UP guy with his gumshoe wrapped around his head on a hot day. But people are happy. This is glorious. The king of the people and the king of the universe, Jagannath and the Gajapati Raj. Now Premnidhi Thakur tries to illuminate our hearts about the intimate, loving exchanges between Thakurji and the Sevites, the Lord and his devotees. No one can understand. Who can understand the Mahima of the Lord's servants? Only Krishna knows how much they're attached. Krishna knows how much we love him and how much we're attached to him. No one else can know. Well, he knows. And he never forgets. He never forgets the service we've rendered. He never forgets the attachment we have. in this first translation which we read, 122, Krishna sometimes bewilders his devotee, and then, feeling compassion for him, removes his illusion and restores his understanding of the Lord. Although Pundarik Vidyanidhi was a great devotee, when he enacted the pastime of finding fault in the devotees of Jagannath, the affectionate Supreme Lord performed one pastime to destroy his staged illusion. So this is a Leela, like Brahma Vimohan Leela. The whole thing was created by Krishna. Krishna bewildered Brahma because he had some confusion about Krishna's identity. So Brahma came to bewilder Krishna. He said, "Oh, I'm going to fool him and take all his cowboys, and he'll wonder what happened to them." And he got spoofed on. He went to do a spoof on someone, and he got spoofed. That's why it's called. He came to bewilder. He thought, "Oh, I'm going to bewilder all the boys now." Krishna will wonder what happened. Where'd the boys go? They disappeared. He knew all along where they went. And he said, "Okay, you keep those illusory boys there, boom, and I make all boys, and then watch my boys. My boys will turn into Vishnumurtis. And even the cows will have 4 arms, and the calves will have 4 arms." And Brahma was like, "What happened?" He went back to the cave. "Are they here?" "Yeah, they're here." They went back to the bank and said, "But they're also here. What's going on here? Maybe this little boy is bigger than I thought." How old was Krishna? This was Chatikar Leela. He was only 5 or so. Little. 3 years. It was 3 years and 6 months in Gokul, and 3 years and 6 months in Chatikar, and 3 years and 6 months in Nandagram. So it becomes about 10 and a half, 11 years altogether. So Chatikar at the end of Chatikar was Gopastami. And he took the cows, graduated to take care of the cows. Big boy now. And he could roam far and wide. The Lord bewilders, and the Lord removes bewilderment. It's just like we're bewildered. We're all in various states of moha, illusion, maya, that which is not. But when we surrender to Krishna, then the maya disappears. Daiviyeshu gunamayi mama maya duratya mame veye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. Then the illusion goes. Taranti means either you leave the illusion or illusion leaves you. Like the analogy, someone goes to the forest and they wrap their arms around this big tree. Someone says, "Oh, let go of the tree." "No, this tree is holding on to me." So the guru comes and tells the disciple, "You're holding on to Maya, let go of Maya." No, Maya's holding on to me. Just let go. That's Tarantite. Tarantite means let go of Maya. So when you surrender to Krishna, then Maya says, "Oh, you're surrendered to Krishna. I don't want your embrace anymore. Get out of here. You're not nice. You're with Krishna." Then you're out. When you're sitting in your jail crying, you're sitting in your jail cell crying, when I'll never get out, life imprisonment, life after life imprisonment, life after life. When you go before Yamaraj, "I sentence you to life after life imprisonment." Life after life we're imprisoned in Maya. And we're rotting in the cell, all bars all around, and it's just a stone floor and stone walls and long hallways with hundreds and hundreds of cells, and each cell has a number. And there's prisoners in each cell, and every prisoner has a cell number, 987149, and then some cell blocks begin with number 8, 899, and some begin with number 98. There's long thousands of cells. And then when the warden who has the keys, who's holding the keys to the cells, when he walks down the long hallways, he wears big leather boots. And on the cement hallways, they go tong, tong, tong. And that's all you can hear because there's no sound. It's a huge building, and it's so quiet. There's no television, there's no radios, nothing. Just tong, tong, tong. And hanging on his waist, he has a huge ring like this, a big ring. It has hundreds and hundreds of keys, and they're about 6 inches long. When he walks down, it goes ching, 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 boom, 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 ching, ching. That's the only sound you know. And he goes up and down looking to see and make sure all the cells are locked. Then one fine day, he comes along and says, 99997979891, and then all of a sudden and opens the lock, and the door opens up. He says, "You're out. Davyesha Gunamai Mama Maya Mami Vaye. You're free. Go home free. You're home free. Go home. Go with Krishna." So Vrindavandas Thakur is setting the stage that sometimes Krishna bewilders his devotee, then feeling compassionate for him, he removes the illusion and shows his affection and pure love so intimately, so tightly, so warmly, inconceivable, ecstatic bliss that one feels when he finally receives the full attention of the Lord and escapes the world of illusion. So now we'll find out if there's another pastime illustrating this point. Brahmakara ila vidya nidire apane. This is all the same pastime. This part 2, scene 2 of the same. Kanai Balai slaps Premnidhi. Continued. Part 2. From the Lord, Brahmachcheta Kripa Sunibe Ekshane. First the Lord bewildered Pundarik Vidinidhi. Now you will hear how the Lord removed his illusion. So someday the Lord may come and slap us upside the face, as they say. E matarange dange dui priya saka chali lena Krishna karye janra jata vasa. In this way, the two intimate friends, Damodar Sarup and Pundarik Vidinidhi, went to their respective houses in Puri to perform their Krishna consciousness duties. I'm sure they're fully in Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness duties. Priya Sakas, Range Danga. Krishna says, Chali Lena Krishna Karye Janra Jatavas. They went to their houses to do their Krishna Karya, to do their work, to do their activities, their seva, Krishna seva. Bhiksha Kari Ailena Gorangarastane Prabhustane Asi Sabe Takila Shayane. After taking their meals in their respective homes, Swarup Damodar and Pundarik Vidinidhi went back to the Gambhira to meet with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And they spent some time in his holy association in Gambhira, then they left and returned. They went to their own residence and took rest. Sakala Janena Prabhu Chaitanya Gosai Jagannatha Rupe Swapne Gela Tanatani. In his form as Lord Jagannath, Sakala Janena Prabhu, that Prabhu who knows everything, the all-omniscient, all-knowing Lord Chaitanya, in his form as Jagannath, he appeared in the dream of Pundarik Vidinidhi, Swapna Darshan. It was Jagannath he saw, but actually Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya are one. Swapane dekena vidya nidhi mahashai Jagannatha Balai asi haila vijay. Jagannath Balai, Kanai Balai. Vidyanidhi Mahashaya is another name for Pundarik Vidya, Mahashaya. He saw Lord Jagannath, Kanai, and Balaram, Balai, appear before him in his dream. And then, what happened? Krodha Rupa Jagannatha Vidyanidhi Deke Apane Dariya Tanre Chada Jena Muke. Vidyanidhi saw in his dream Lord Jagannath, and in his dream Lord Jagannath held on to him and slapped his face in an angry mood. Slap like him. Dui bhai mili chada mare dui gale hena dada chadana Jai Anguli Gali Fule The two brothers, Jagannath and Balaram, slapped his cheeks repeatedly, so hard that Pundarik's face became swollen and bore the impressions of their lotus fingers on his face. Ouch is right. Dukapai Vidyanidhi Krishna Raksha Balai Apararas Shama Bali Pade Padatale. Feeling distress, Vidyanidhi fell at the feet of Jagannath, Kanai, Balai and prayed, "Oh Krishna, save me, forgive my offenses. Oh!" Purport. Sri Jagannath and Sri Balaram appeared in a dream of Vidyanidhi and profusely slapped him on the face. Vidyanidhi asked Kanai and Balai, this is where the title comes from, our Param Guru, Kanai and Balai slapped Premnidhi. Vidyanidhi asked Kanai and Balai, why were they unnecessarily punishing him? What was his offense? When his offense was disclosed, he begged pardon from them. That comes next. It's a foreshadowing next verse. He says, "Hey, why for you slapping me? What be for you slapping me for? Kon aparade more maraha gosai prabhu tora paradherantanani." Oh Lord, why are you beating me? There is no end to your offenses. Mora jati mora sevakera jati nani sakala janila tumi urahi. I do not belong to any caste, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and my servants here in Jagannath Puri, they do not belong to any caste. You should have learned this here while staying here. Sounds like Vrindavan. The servants are beyond all caste distinctions. Don't know. You can't say they're this or that, or you don't know what they are. They're just Krishna's servants. And I'll leave it at that. Tabe kene rahijacha jati nashastan jati raki chalatumi apana bhavan. Why then are you staying in a place where you will lose your caste, Pundarik? If you want to protect your caste, then you better run away from Jagannath Puri and go back to your home. Otherwise, you will be cast into the society and lose your designation. You better run home now, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, because you're attached to rules and regulations and caste distinctions. Ami je karyachi jatra nirbandha tahateo bhava anacharera sambandha. Jagannath continued, "Listen, I have inaugurated the traditional observance of this festival. It is me, and for my pleasure. How can you dare to think there is any improper behavior in the execution of this festival, which is performed for my pleasure? Amare Kariya Brahma Sevaka Nindya Manduya Kapara Stane Dosha Justidia. You accept me as the Supreme Brahman, but you offend my servants by finding fault in their dressing me with starched cloth." Swapne Vidyanidhi Maha Bhaya Paya Mane Krandana Karena Mata Dari Sri Charani. Vidyanidhi felt great fear. He placed his head at the feet of Jagannath and he cried, "Oh, Savaparana Prabhu, Shama Papishteri, Gatilon Prabhu, Balilon Tomare. Please, oh Jagannath, oh forgive the offenses. I'm Papishteri. I'm so sinful. I am defeated. I apologize. I accept defeat. I'm sorry. Jai Mukhe Asilun Prabhu, Tora Seva Kere, Se Mukhera Shasti Prabhu, Bala Kaila More. Oh Jagannath, "Oh Prabhu, oh my Lord, with this mouth, I have laughed at your servants, so now you'll properly punish that mouth." Because he previously, a few verses before, he was laughing at the servants. Oh yes, because Sri Damodar said, the Lord is Supreme Brahman, he has descended here, appeared as a Daru Brahman Jagannath Murti, and his servants are serving according to his will, and they are also like Brahman. And then Pandit Vidyanidhi said, really, I can accept the Lord is Brahman, you're saying the servants are also Brahman. And they laughed, yes, he laughed. So the Lord Jagannath is saying, with this very mouth you're laughing at my servants? You're doubting their transcendental position? Then top, top, top. In a dream he got beat up. So this is a very interesting point, because of course it's Leela, and it's completely ras, it's all ras and Leela between the Lord and his servants. But if we take this down and try to the Adhyatmic Vichar from our level, what does it mean? How does it mean? What it means is, it can have this meaning to us as sadhakas, is that unlike conditioned souls, those that are surrendered and engaged servants of the Lord and taking diksha and serving the Lord directly under Guru, their prarabdha karma oftentimes is dissolved in a dream. Whereas an ordinary soul cannot have this facility. And a person who is not engaged in the service of the Lord, their karma must be, their prarabdha must be, happiness and distress must be experienced in real time, as they say, conscious waking jagrata time, suffering and enjoyment. But the devotee, they can dissolve their karma by the right responses in dreams. So here's an example of a swapna, a dream, and the Lord's appearing to it, and he's suffering, he's getting beat up, and even he took that from that Leela and brought it back here. There was signs of that, which shows at that point it shows that he's a Premi Bhakta, because the siddhas sometimes enter Nitya Leela, and then they come back with colors. They're going in Nitya Leela and they're filling up Radharani's Pichkari and they're helping her in the holy pastime at Radhakund, and they come out of their Leela Pravesh and there's colors all over their dhoti. So they brought from the Alokik Leela, they brought back to the sadhaka group something from the spiritual world, or perfume, or many things. There's examples of Srinivasacharya and others. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he entered the Leela of the Lord, the Swapna Vilas Amritam Leela. And he came back and he had, some lion is chasing us and scratches us in a dream. When we wake up, we don't have scratches on our back. So the devotee can suffer for his offenses in the dream, or he can suffer in the dream, and so he's crying, he's begging for forgiveness, he's repenting. So we can have repentance when we're conscious, we can have repentance when we're even in our dreams and be forgiven by the Lord. So now he goes on. Baladine haila mora aji suprabhat. Mukha kapolera bhagye bhajila shihat. This is a very auspicious day for me. Now I've woken up. What is the greatest day of my entire life? For my face and forehead. Actually, kapola means cheek. The word kapal means cheek. When Dhruva Maharaj, when Narayan appeared from the heart of Dhruva Maharaj and gave him a Sakshat Darshan, in Madhavan, on the banks of the Yamuna, in Brajmandal, while he was doing his 6-month austerities and standing on one leg and suppressing the breathing for the entire universe, then Lord Vishnu appeared to him and said, okay, that's about enough for now, and what do you want? And when he appeared to him, he was overwhelmed. He was a young boy of 5 years old, Dhruva Maharaj, and he wanted to say something, he was stunned. He couldn't speak. So then Chaturabhuj Narayan, one of his Shankara Padma, like that. So then chakras. So then he took his shank, his conch shell, Kapola Sparsha. He touched the cheek of Dhruva Maharaj, and Dhruva Maharaj was able to speak some very beautiful verses. I was searching for broken pieces of glass. I wanted a kingdom. Because his sankalpa that he took before he performed these austerities and chanted his mantra, he did mantra dhyan, he did meditation on the feet of the Lord, and he chanted his mantra and meditated. He did intense austerities, tapa. He was chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But his sankalp, mantra sankalp, he took a sankalp and then he did Purush Charan. One of the most rigorous Purush Charans that ever been heard of in the history of the universe. 6 months he did Purush Charan, mantra Purush Charan with tapasya, dhyan, and intensive austerities. So he got the Saksha Darshan of the Ishtadevata of that mantra. There is Saraswati mantra, Saraswati will appear before one, or Hanuman mantra. You can do Purush Charan with different mantras and get the darshan of the Ishtadevata of that mantra. So the Ishtadevata Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya is Chaturbhuja Narayan. So he appeared. And then he said, what do you want? I want a kingdom bigger than my father. That was his sankalpa. I want a kingdom much bigger than my father, so then he'll try to come and sit on my lap, and I'll throw him off. and I'll lock up my mother-in-law in jail. Suniti, or Suruchi. I mean my stepmother, rather. My stepmother Suruchi, I'll put her in jail, and I'll appoint my mother Suniti as the Rajmata. At any rate, so when the Lord came and had darshan and he touched his cheek, Kapola, with a shank, then he offered all these beautiful prayers. Oh, what was my sankalpa? What was I aspiring for? And now I have your darshan. This is the greatest fruit of anything, the greatest treasure I'm having before me, just seeing your beautiful darshan. And what I was aspiring for was just like broken pieces of glass, and I got the rarest gem before my eyes. There's that beautiful verses there. So in the same way, the next day he had these tangible signs of directly experiencing the Lord's Leela, although it appeared to be a swapna. This is the great suprabhat, means a good day, a very auspicious good morning. This is the most auspicious day I've ever had in my life, because I saw the Lord and the Lord touched me. It couldn't be to see the Lord or He touched my face and my cheeks by his lotus hands. He forgot all about his pains. He was so happy that the Lord had personally punished him. This is the real mercy of the Lord on his servant. Prabhupada says at the same point, he said, unless someone really loves a servant, then he doesn't chastise them or punish them. He said, let them go their way. Prabhu Balai Tore Yanu Grahera Lagia Tomare Karilan Shasti Sevaka Dekia. Jagannath replied, I guess he is still in the dream, because he's still having a conversation with the Lord. So he's just saying the most auspicious beginning of a new day. Maybe it was early in the morning or whatever. Then Lord Jagannath replies, because he said, I'm very fortunate that you touched me. And Lord Jagannath said, I have punished you to bestow my mercy on you, for I consider you my servant. I see you as my sevak. Swapne Premnidhi Prati Prema Drishti Kari Dule Aila Dui Bhai Rama Hari. In this way the two brothers Kanai Balai, Rama and Hari, mercifully glanced on Premnidhi in his dream and then returned to their temple. So they left their temple to come to his house to slap him upside the face and teach him and show their love, their anugraha. Premnidhi, so Swapne Premnidhi Prati Prema Drishti Kari. So he had this beautiful Prem Drishti, saw this beautiful Prati Premnidhi Swapne. His dream was an ocean of love. was almost like an ocean of love. And he saw this beautiful sight, this love-filled sight of these two brothers, the two Duibai, Ram Hari, Balaram and Hari, Krishna Hari, Duibai, Ram Hari, Prem Drishti Kari. Very flat translation. They mercifully glanced on Premnidhi in his dream. Prem Drishti. Swapne deki vidinidhi jagiya utila gale chara deki sava hasite lagila. After seeing this dream, Pundarik Vidinidhi woke up. Then he saw the slap marks on his cheeks and he began to laugh. Now he's laughing, but now he's laughing at the great exchange of love that he had with the Lord. Now he's laughing over his good fortune, not laughing over the faults of the pujaris, assumed faults. Srihastera chari sabe fulijache gala deki Premnidhi Balai bhara bala bala. Premnidhi, which is another name for Pundarik Vidyanidhi, his cheeks were swollen from the slapping of the lotus hands of the Supreme Lord. Seeing this, he said, "Bhalo, bhalo, bhalo." Very good, very good, very good. Just like a lover may, and two lovers are together, one may scratch or bite the other one or whatever. So the next day they see that, they're not angry. They say, "Oh, this is very good. This is a sign of how much attachment or affection my lover has for me. I still have some vestiges of expression of their love." So he's reveling in this experience. Jena kailon aparada tara shasti pailon Balai kailena prabhu alpe edaulun. This is again the thoughts of Pundarik. I have received punishment for my offense, yet the Lord has mercifully awarded me only a token punishment. Deka deka e vidya nidira mahima sevakere daya jatatara e sima. Just see the glories of Pundarik Vidyanidhi. This is the limit of the Lord's mercy on his devotees. The daya simha. Daya simha, the limit of compassion and mercy on his sevak. Sevak daya simha. Sima means limit, the utmost upper limits. The zenith of mercy or compassion on his devotees. Putra je pradumna tahane je hinamate charana marina prabhu shikshara nimite. Lord Krishna does not even slap his own son Pradumna to teach him in this way. Janaki Rukmini Satyabhama Arijata Ishvara Ishvari Ara Ache Kata Kata Sakshate Mare Jara Aparahai Swapnera Prasara Shasti Drishya Kavunai. Lord Krishna's associates like Janaki, his wife as Ramachandra, Rukmini, his wife as Dwarkadish, and Satyabhama, as well as the various gods and goddesses, are directly punished if they commit an offense. But to receive the Lord's mercy by being punished in a dream is rarely seen. Swapne danda paya kiba arta labahai jagile purusha se sakala kichunai. Someone who receives punishment or wealth in a dream has nothing to show for it when he wakes up. So if you come with a black eye tomorrow to class, then you'll know that your guru has rightly punished you. Or you can't blame it on the guru. Shastiva prasada prabhu swapne jarakare jay jari shikshate loke deka faladhari. But even if Lord Krishna punishes or bestows mercy on someone in a dream, results are seen by everyone. Interesting point. That if the Lord punishes you or bestows mercy on you, everyone will see the results. Because that interaction with God, if it's real, if it's genuine, even in a dream or not, in waking or in a dream, will be so transforming that either it will transform your prabhav or your aura or your radiance or your look, or even or look in the case, something. What happened to you? Like the transformation happened to these different Babajis, like great devotees like Srinivasacharya and others. It's described in their biographies. They had colors on their cloth, and it was seen. Everyone could see, hey, something's going on. They came in the kutir. Gurudev, what happened? What do you mean, what happened? Nothing happened. Why you came? Well, look at you. You're all full of color. And then one guru, he was meditating on Leela. Then he was assigned to carry some fragrant perfume into the kunja. And then he was carrying it. He was so much excited to have this opportunity, the first time to render intimate service to the divine couple, that he stumbled at the doorway of the kunja and tripped and dropped a vial of perfume on the ground. And then he woke up. He was crying and lamenting. And then he smelled all these clothes. He smelled, well, this is on my clothes. And he took off his clothes and he tried to hide them and change his clothes because he didn't want the disciples to detect. Immediately, about 5 minutes, the disciples came. Gurudev, the whole ashram is smelling, the whole ashram, the whole kunja here, all the kutirs, everyone's smelling some flowers. It's winter, there's no flowers, there's no malati, no juhi, no kadam. What's so heavy fragrance? He said, I don't know, what can it be? I know. And then it's coming from this room. And they go around. No, there's nothing here. Just go. And they go, what is this in the corner? And they smell. Yeah, this is it. And Gurudev, what is this? No, that's nothing. It's just my cloth. It's old. It smells like that. And then then they traced it out, so you couldn't hide it. Sakshate say. Well, I guess we'll continue that tomorrow. There's more to the story. We'll continue that tomorrow. There's a lot of discussion now. It's part of the same pastime, but it's just a lot of philosophy now about dreams and what they mean and what they don't mean. If you know what I mean.
I'm just thinking that what a difference in the